Records are meant to be broken. In 2019, the truism couldn't have been more accurate. Goals, points, the longest winning streak in modern American soccer. Phoenix was destined for the USL Championship final until the league's new reigning monarch took the throne. Tonight, they take their show on the road to Orange County, where a reinvigorated attack is designed to take revenge for a 2018 Western Conference final gone awry. A crucial early test in USL Championships Group B. Orange County, Phoenix, live right now. Welcome to the USL Championship on ESPN and return to play week as in Orange County, California, Championship Soccer Stadium, playing host to a heated rivalry growing in Group B. It's Orange County Soccer Club taking on last year's record setters, Phoenix Rising FC. With Devin Kermike Watts on hand, Devin, let's re-educate everybody on why this game means so much. The top two teams in each group will go to the 16-team single elimination bracket at the end of the year, with 8 regionalized groups largely playing their games within a 16-game, 13-week regular season, of which some teams have already begun. Devin, you think about the partnership now between Orange County and Glasgow Rangers. We featured it already on ESPN2 earlier tonight, but this could be the future of the organization.
One of the biggest names in global football when it comes to the Glasgow Rangers, and the opportunity for Orange County SC to cement your name in a partnership like this alongside it doesn't come along very often, and they're going to make the most of it. The relationship is going to go both ways. Rob Kiernan has a boatload of appearances for the first team in Glasgow, and then you get the youngsters as well. Daniel Finlayson, he'll feature tonight. Cammy Palmer in the midfield. Matthew Shields will throw his name into it. They come over here. They've repped for their country at the youth national team. But players in the Orange County Academy, they get to go over as well. This is what football's all about.
Orange County has this incredible academy growing already, and the key to that is that they have pros at the highest level teaching them into the pathway toward the pro team. Chandler Hoffman, chief among them.
You and I absolutely astonished that a talent like this was able to make his way not just back to the Western Conference, but to a team in Orange County SC that had already reloaded up top with a boatload of offensive pieces. Third all-time in goals in USL Championship. What else could you ask for?
Well, if you're Phoenix, you just try and keep the team you already have together.
I'll tell you what they ask for. They want that trophy. They missed the trophy last year. They set every record possible. Points, wins, goal differential, goals for, the 20-game win streak. By the way, that's the best in United States soccer history, not just USL Championship. They win the regular season, they win the West. The problem is they don't make it back to the final, and they do not have the championship trophy exactly where they want it. In that case, they're out for vengeance, they're out for a title.
Incredible start this year against Timbers 2, and last time out against LA Galaxy 2, 10 goals scored and only 1 allowed. Devin, you look at the lineup they send out in this instance, there are 7 players that featured in all these pictures, all these highlights. They're back for more.
Scary to think that this team got better. And how did they get better? They got better because of depth. 2 changes. AJ Cochran comes into the back line alongside Corey Whelan. How about Sam Stanton? There's a guy, Scottish pedigree. He comes in next side to Lambert and Baquero. This might be the most talented midfield in the entire league. And then you have probably the most talented front 3 in the entire league. The goals in the back of the net. Dadashov steps in for Adam John. They have not missed a beat.
Meanwhile, for Orange County, Aaron Cervantes can't buy a lottery ticket, but he doesn't need to. He may already be holding it.
He has Phoenix's number. The shot stopper every single time they play. He has been up to the task. We referenced Rob Kiernan already. Finlayson will come into the right back position. Love Nathan Smith as his counterpart on the left. Watch in the midfield. They spread themselves thin. They go very flat. That can work for them and against them. They have to be careful. Harry Forrester, Brian Olowski, and Ugo Okoli. The best part about this front 6 is they're all interchangeable except for the number 9. Everything's going to be down into the channel and try and go vertical. He's phenomenal in the air.
So it's a rematch of the 2018 Western Conference Final. Phoenix Rising, the most offensive juggernaut we've ever seen in this league. Orange County, their heated rival. We've got kickoff after this.
this seat is COVID-19 spreads around the world. The possibility of athletes playing in empty stadiums like these is growing.
Welcome back to the USL Championship on ESPN. Orange County and Phoenix about ready to kick off. In the United Soccer League, all 35 championship clubs, its players all stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. We join the players on the field now.
As we are all united against racism. Thank you.
Cause that these players, the Players Association, clubs, and league management have all shown tremendous passion for over these past few months, both in words and in action. And yet for these teams, a semblance of normalcy, the return to play. Orange County taking on Phoenix in a rematch of the 2018 Western Conference Final, one in which Didier Drogba scored late, helping Phoenix into the USL Championship Final. There are no fans here, although there are plenty of cardboard cutouts. Orange County into possession. Aiden Quinn plays back. Badashaw pressures. And it's Aaron Cervantes, the 17-year-old goalkeeper out of Chino Hills, California, who sends it away. Then we heard it from Orange County's head coach, Braden Cloutier. If we try and get in a track meet with Phoenix, we are in for a long evening.
That would be an issue no matter the matchup, yet alone the circumstances coming back from the extended break. Only about 2 weeks or so for these guys to go through preseason-like play. Well done by the goalkeeper coming off. And, you know, for Orange County, you also have to understand that Phoenix has already been back at work. Disposed of Los Angeles Galaxy 2 last week, and now an opportunity to get back at it. That's what we said, you know, okay, an opportunity to jump to the top of Group B. San Diego Loyal has handled their business so far, winning a draw prior to the stoppage, and since coming back, took care of the Monarchs over the weekend. Probably the biggest difference, Mike, between the Eastern and Western Conference normally compared to group play. You really do get the luxury, but also the frustration of those 6-point type swings.
You know, that cutout has to give that ball back.
Some big names out there in the stands.
Yeah.
I respect that. And we can work on the camera crew, getting us some pictures.
Yeah, anytime you're in Southern California, you're probably going to have a few stars at the game. Then again, if you're Phoenix, all you have to do is look at their ownership group, and you've got enough stars to last a lifetime.
Just above the press box, right?
Orange County into possession. They were in 14th place after a brutal start to the season, through 20 games, ended up in 5th, and lost to Real Monarchs, as Phoenix did in the playoffs. Swept aside by Lambert. Baccaro. A.J. Cochran. Foul from Finlayson. And a set piece coming for Phoenix Rising.
Here's your first rookie mistake of the night, matched up against Junior Flemings. It's going to be a fun pro debut. Just keep an eye on the patience for both of these squads, Mike. So much experience on the pitch for both teams and their ability to go high tempo, but also step on it, recycle, go the other direction. Already seeing it from Phoenix Rising. Everybody gives them so much credit, rightfully so, for 100 miles an hour, ram it down your throats, one end of the field to the other. But the evolution of this team from the revamp in 2017, changing the name, new ownership group, all the way till now, has been the ability to play the beautiful game, knock it around, great triangular movements, getting each and every level of this overall squad just to move in one direction. Manager Rick Shantz feels like maybe that got away from him at the end of the year, and the streak could have been a bit more important than he would have liked. When you look at talent top to bottom, cannot argue that they are sitting right atop.
Set piece here for John Baccaro. Not much to that. Darnell King. Devin, you referenced it a moment ago. 20-game win streak captivated America. All the while, Dollar Beer Night turned into an equally impressive win streak. Friday nights in Phoenix were a guaranteed win for 2019 season. It rolls down to Asante, the reigning league MVP.
Bud Light Night made an appearance.
Yep.
The world we live in.
All the way back to Corey Whelan. But you think back to 2017, they bring in Patrice Carteron, a well-known manager in Africa and in Europe. He turns the roster largely over. New ownership group, led by, among others, Didier Drogba, Berke Bakai. Since that time, 62 wins, 21 losses, and 19 draws. And they did it by creating this incredible athletic, sprinting, initially countering. Now they've got maybe a couple different gears they can go to, style of play that's very insightful.
We alluded to it in the open as well, Mike. The biggest concern for most of these teams that are going to face them is the depth. It's the ability for all these guys to actually put the ball on the turf and play. It's not just the long balls into the channel anymore. You know, there's an art to the way that you can play this game, and they are quite rapidly figuring it out, always challenging themselves, both from a coaching standpoint as well as the players, to buy into it. And, you know, the win's not good enough. The win by 2 isn't good enough. The goal that they gave up in the win isn't good enough. That says something, that even after 15, 20 wins, you're still trying to push yourself to the next plateau. And they still haven't reached it yet, have they? Just like every year, their name is always in the talking point of the championships, just like Orange County. That all-exclusive title has escaped them so far.
Maybe something here for Orange County. Pushed ahead by Okoli. Iloski. Iloski cutting in. Can he get the shot away? Did. I feel like Brian Iloski has really impressed coming out of this 4-month-long layoff. It felt like this time for him, injury-wise, a bit of a gift in that he was injured in February. Who knows whether he would have had the opportunity to work his way into this team. Coley pushing at Darnell King. Coley, 16 goals, league MVP for FC Cincinnati back in 2016, part of a renovated attack for Orange County that will miss Thomas Enevoldsen, who is back in Denmark waiting the birth of his child, and we wish him the best with that. A look at this foul from Okoli.
Great job by Darnell King, just slowing the play up on the other side of the field and understanding that the presence by Ugo is just behind him. It's a lovely addition, Darnell King at the right back. Guy who didn't necessarily get as many repetitions as he would have liked in 2019 international. Watch this turnover, Mike.
Forrester lays this across, falls to Olowski. Forrester again. Comes off of Kanto, the former Orange County player. Corner, OCSC.
It's a really poor turnover, but how about the read at the top of the 18 to track the runner and get stuck in? This thing's headed bottom corner the entire way. Really well done on the recovery by Phoenix Rising. Quick little touch, Forrester goes the other way. Beautiful ball in, and just a trailing run. It's your center back, Corey Whelan, coming all the way back over. We talked about his vision, how good he is at understanding not only where he needs to be, but the rest of the squad. And when that domino starts to fall, his ability to react and make sure that everybody follows suit.
Forrester. Offside flag up just beyond midfield, and Solomon Asante waving that off. The real image that stands out from the 2018 final was that man who Didier Drogba helped convince come to the club, now a league MVP. At the time, had just gotten his feet wet in the league. He was really starting to show his form, Devin, with an inflatable crown that he tried to get Didier Drogba to wear, but the king knows how to share the glory.
He's passed the throne on now, hasn't he? Double-double club, league MVP. Seems like you can pretty much pick him for every category in terms of league awards at the end of the year.
22 goals last year.
He's just so frustrating to play against, Mike. You understand that his strongest foot is the right foot, and he's going to try and push you to his right side, but he turns on a dime, is unselfish, and that's probably one of the bigger ones. Phenomenal vision. Doesn't usually hit those 30, 40, 50-yard balls, but he finds the little creases. So it's the quick little cut, the dashing run by the 9. You've got the back post run, usually occupied by Junior Flemings. And, of course, you have the trailers currently being occupied by Sam Stanton and John Beccaro. And the fact that they're all extremely technical players doesn't help these defenses that they're going up against.
Flemings downhill, Asante. Asante lays it over toward Dadashov, who scored a Week 1 hat trick to debut for the club, the Azerbaijani international. And a corner now for Phoenix Rising.
Exactly what we were just talking about, Mike. Watch the buildup quickly in the other direction. And you'd like to see more bodies get involved here, but the minute that they flip the switch, look at the numbers running forward. 1, 2, 3. All of those guys up top know exactly what their jobs are. Ball coming back across, escapes Asante just a little bit. And Dadashov and Flemings were both making the same run. But early on, 11 minutes in, those boys up top starting to feel themselves.
Stanton, the Scottish Youth International, drives the cross and skims off the head of A.J. Cochran. Took a defensive touch as well. Another corner for Phoenix. Phoenix, the #1 team in the Western Conference by a wide margin last year, 78 points in 34 league games. Ball launched across, Cervantes swipes that away. Maybe a chance to get a second ball across. Dadashov arriving, and Cervantes yanks it down with a little extra confidence to him. And if you're talking about the future of Orange County, the pipeline from their academy to their pro team, as this ricochets off Dadashov, Cervantes is the perfect example.
He's getting bigger too, Mike. That growth spurt's starting to kick in. Oh, you and I have been spoiled with the opportunity to see him 3, 4, 5 times, something like that, past year and a half or so. Starting to mature both on and off the field and understanding the path that's been put in front of him. Anytime he's been asked to, can't argue with his performance.
You think about Cervantes, last year I think the question was, can David Ochoa lead Real Monarchs to the title? And he did at 18 years old. There's a path here for Cervantes to be similarly impressive on the international stage moving forward, perhaps as Ochoa has seen in his young career. Springing Finlayson. The slide in by Chris Ostemo, the UC Irvine alum. They've felt last year Chris Ostemo had precisely a 2% chance to make the roster with all their depth in midfield, but he starts again tonight.
Opening day as well. How about that for a good story? Yeah, well, maybe you'll be a squad player. Work yourself right into the 11. Just have to keep him on the outside. It's good to work him in, but he's really best, Mike, when touchline's behind him, has an opportunity to see the entire field, allow the guys in front to move a bit more. He can make any pass that you want him to, but working from the inside out is much more difficult. We saw that in the opening match against El Paso Locomotive. Braden Coutier understood that and said, you know, we just need to find a way to get to our strong points, and that's one of them. Forster's the same way, working from the touchline, and the lineup is already taking an interesting shape with Aiden sitting a bit deep, and they're rotating the 4 across. Instead coming in, that's one of the best things you have when it comes to this Orange County squad, is everybody willing to occupy each other's spots, but be interchangeable once you start to go the other direction.
Ryan Iloski has the overlap, springs it inward. Back to Chris Ostemo. Iloski slides it over the return ball, no. Aiden Quinn. Free kick.
That's a card.
Certainly a yellow for Solomon Asante.
You can see this coming from a mile away. Solomon Asante is not happy because it's his first offense, but pinned in your own defensive third. Reckless challenge. Studs up the entire way, overextension. Smith coming all the way back up. This is where you'd like the thoughts to be a bit better, to be honest, in terms of ingenuity on the offensive side of the ball for Orange County. Having trouble breaking down Phoenix Rising. Good read by Nathan Smith. Solomon Asante just throws those small, a boatload of force behind him. Think about all the guys that can step over this, Mike. Aiden Quinn fancies himself. Seen Harry Forrester there. Chris Ostemo's hit a few. No more Enevoldsen. We've already talked about that. He would 100% love to stand over this right now. It's all about the angle and exactly where the referee placed this thing. It looked like it was about 5 yards outside the 18. Does the spot still ring true?
Set piece coming. It's Quinn. Floated forward. Positive turn. And there's the late whistle. And Nicole looking over to the AR. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship, many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products, special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Come to you live from Orange County, California. Orange County taking on Phoenix in the USL Championships return to play. Phoenix trying to work through this crowded midfield. Lambert, the Jamaican international, got it wide. Asante forward, snapped header. Off target from Dadashov. The sound effect guy still here.
There's a rising star within the USL Championship. Stock going up every single year. Kevin Lambert. Great little segue coming out of the back, go the other direction. Asante one touch, look up. Point man Dadashov available. How spoiled is it? They go from working your way back. Dadashov, Adam John, Chris Cortez, Didier Drogba. You'd be lucky as an organization to have one of them. They've had all four in the past 3 years.
If you're Orange County, you're saying Eni Voltson was one of the top goal scorers in this league. Okoli has been a league MVP. Chandler Hoffman, third all-time leading scorer in the championship. Finlayson, brought down by Kasipli. Kasipli wins a corner.
The difference, they all get to play on the same roster.
Yeah.
Phoenix doesn't have that luxury anymore. The Stars feel like they're starting to align for Orange County SC. Everything that they've been working on in the offseason, the youth academy that is starting to reach a boatload of spotlights all over this nation. So we talked about the relationship with Glasgow Rangers. There's a quality addition we haven't referenced yet. Seth Kasipli coming over from Reno 1868. And Russell a little sad that doesn't have him at his disposal anymore after our chat today.
Kasipli toward the back post and cleared aside by Zach Lubin. Fell to Michael Orozco, former U.S. full international, 29 caps, 4 goals for the national team from Orange County. Returns home at 34 years old.
This is really smart by Lubin, the goalkeeper, as well. He feels the presence by Forrester coming, even after the redirect on the header. Not exactly sure who's next to him. The mark was no longer there on the post, and he just pushes it to the side.
Aiden Quinn drives the service. Zach Lubin, a couple of years in Sweden, played in Ireland as well, but within the championship played for Tulsa and Swope Park Rangers, now Sporting Kansas City too. Last year in 28 starts, only gave up 24 goals. That's the thing about Phoenix I think people probably misunderstand. They scored 89 goals. They only conceded 36. That was tied for fewest in the West.
They're hoping that number continues to dwell. Mike, 42 the year before, dropped at 36. You already talked about it. Additions of Corey Whelan towards the end of last season. AJ Cochran was one of the big names coming in at the beginning of last year. Conto at the left back position with the departure of Amadou Dia back to Sporting Kansas City. Of course, Donnell King, the right back spot.
Kasipli. This will fall for Alaski. Lofts it back toward Orozco. To Cervantes, and a unnecessary foul in the press. Devin, there's a certain physical look to this Phoenix Rising side. Dadashov, Lambert, Flemings, they almost look too big for the field. Their stride is so long, it almost looks like they're a cheat code of sorts, even on a legitimate sized field. Another free kick here for Orange County.
It's that glide that everybody starts to talk about. No real downshift, it's one constant speed. You just pick up the tempo a little bit. They're not exactly sure how long that young man's going to be around, Kevin Lambert. Already referenced how good he's gotten from year to year, and just feel like the eyes are on him, and eventually another opportunity is going to come he won't be able to turn down. Make the most of him while he is able to perform for Phoenix Rising.
Meteoric rise through Gold Cup with Jamaica, played in Phoenix in a quarterfinal. Didier Drogba and the Rising players were there, saw him. One thing leads to another, and he's starred in Phoenix for years now. Ball put in play toward the back post, cleared away off Quinn's service, and this ricochets in but won't count. A sweet hit from Harry Forrester wiped off the board.
My one concern that I have, all of these set pieces coming off Orange County, there's some tasty balls being served in here, Mike. Haven't been able to get anybody on the end of it, though. Ugo Okoli, is it 2-3 times now? Just off the mark a little bit. Roscoe on the back post before, half a chance.
Here we go, White. Here we go.
but with the distance comparatively to how close and where all the players are lining up, you've got the big bodies in the box. Got to try and find a way. Run some of the stunts that you've been working on in the training ground, because right now it's just hit with a wink and a prayer and hoping someone can go up and get it. Ends up in a white shirt.
Fleming somehow turned on that. Sends it wide. You can see behind Cervantes, that's where the County Line Coalition would have been sitting. This is one of the games in return to play week in which local official discretion calls for no fans in the stands. Louisville had about 5,000, 30% of their brand new stadium, which opened on Sunday night. We'll be in St. Pete tomorrow. Tampa Bay taking on Dave Sarakin's North Carolina FC here on ESPN2. They'll have about 150 in the stands. And in this instance, this gorgeous 5,000-seat gem that they opened a couple of years ago, which really gave Orange County soccer a future for their pro organization, will be empty for now. Well, not entirely empty. We'll explain later.
Who put this schedule together, by the way? I'm grateful for that one.
Yeah.
Louisville, Pittsburgh, got Reno Sac, Orange County Phoenix, North Carolina Tampa Bay Rowdies. I mean, whew, Christmas came early this year.
That's exactly how it was described by Braden Cloutier, the head coach for Orange County. Now, he was just talking about having a season at all. He felt like he was opening a present here. I don't think the present was playing Phoenix twice in a row to start. But he said that the team on this field right now, they get it. The ones who are here and the ones who aren't. The celebratory exuberance from Phoenix in that 2018 final, something that doesn't easily leave the mind. Stanton pushes forward. Stanton getting in behind on Fleming's floated ball. Stanton continues, nods it down, puts it on a tee. Fleming's off the spin, rips it across. Now to Forrester. Sean Beccaro. Asante.
It's a really good look at everybody's shape right now, Mike. Orange County SC just moments ago dropping back in. Two little flat blocks of four, and Eddie Finlayson had his hands full with Junior Flemings early on. Hasn't necessarily been the case recently. Going forward, they've really inverted their shape into almost what looks like a V. Harry Forrester coming to this near touchline. Now Ugo Okoli just standing up top by himself. Sean's very accustomed to that. Glorious Youth Academy coming up, and he's made some friends over the years. Rotated through the national team. Kasipli on the left. Basically what's happening is that quick little interchange here. Brian Olowski is the one who's given a bit more freedom than we've seen in this system in the past. Now he's based on that left-hand side, but just watch him pinch right in. He's standing at the center circle just to the right of the referee right now, closing off that outlet pass. And they're forcing Phoenix Rising to go long up top or all the way to the other side to Solomon Asante. It's really smart. They're not allowing that quick distribution to a midfielder that's opening up or the other outside back.
Slide in by Forrester, and a second card in this match come out. It's against one of his former teammates.
You can see his knee buckle a little bit there at the tail end of this watch. Doesn't make contact, but comes up over the top. Like just sticks into the ground. Studs get caught up and immediately goes to the knee. Here, Rick Shantz, that's the last thing you want to see, given exactly what's going on at the left back position, if you will, right now. You start to look down the bench. You hope that's not the case, as Brennan Hodge takes a quick look at their fallen comrade. And you would legitimately have to play musical chairs. Joey Farrell's on the sideline. That's your only true defender right now. Everybody else attack-minded. The good news is Corey Whelan, Darnell King, AJ Cochran, you can move all of them around, but it's not the preferred positioning by this organization.
Kanto is able to return. Exciting player. Solomon Asante actually recruited him over from Orange County. Not from the same academy or the same hometown in Ghana. Respect earned by playing on the field against one another these past 2 years.
A little bit of insider trading, the countrymen. Two Ghanaians joining up.
Flemings try to get that away. In the end, it's Baquero who wins it. Flemings who can score the extraordinary. Referee thought about a foul, allows play to continue. And the slide there by Chrysostomo calls for a foul.
Great job on the press here by Phoenix. That started from John Baquero, the quick little step, understanding that there was a pressure point to be had. And he started to apply it right away. Now, he doesn't get the first touch, but as you continue to progress, Mike, Sam Stanton rotates back over, the foul comes in, and they're rewarded with a free kick. That's something they've become so good at over the last 18 months. Everybody willing to put in the extra kilometers. Quick little chase, and then they become the benefactors of positioning on the field.
Baquero floats along and knotted down, and Cervantes takes control. Solid ball there by Baquero. It's been advised over the years by David Villa. Interestingly enough, Villa now set to take ownership in Queensboro, set to open in 2022 in New York City. Then we have some home teams now, you and I. I've got Queensboro in my preferred borough. You've got Omaha, your hometown, and Fort Lauderdale in League One. So they're toying with your emotions, I'm sure.
Not exactly sure which direction I'm to be pulled.
League One home openers just got announced this week. Ball into the middle, skied over by Okoli. Heated day in Southern California. Temps only in the mid-70s, and yet hydration breaks will be common in the early going of the USL Championship. Devin, we're not the only ones taking part in the festivities here. The fans are not allowed in the venue, but there are some cutouts. Will Farrell, part owner of LAFC, is in the stands.
Front row.
Yeah, Gwen is here. You know Gwen.
Love her.
Yeah.
SVP. Look at him.
Van Peasy.
The bold and the beautiful.
Absolutely. Tiger Woods, big Orange County fan.
Finished his round and then went and sat in the stands. Good for him.
Mike Trout's here. Tim Howard is back again.
Stevie G over the right corner. There's the Glasgow affiliation we talked about.
That's right. Megan Rapinoe. Didier Drogba's been here before. 2018 Western Conference Final. Laughter is permitted anytime Julie Foudy is in the house. Always keeps a big smile. And Devin.
Oh, boy.
How you doing, friend?
Oh, boy. Yeah, they put us in the upper deck for a reason. Couldn't even get into the press box this time around.
You know what my fiance said when I mentioned that this was happening? She said, not your most flattering picture.
You know, I told you, you got to work on your professional headshots, right? We got to stop giving that one out.
You know, we didn't dress equivalently. That's part of the problem.
Yes.
Everyone looks good in a suit.
I gave you the memo.
Yeah.
That's why you got to learn to read, man.
It's a day late and a buck short. You think about how different teams are trying to not only give the players that taste of who's in the building. There's a lot of Orange County faithful who have their heads over there watching over, and certainly plenty watching. Phoenix has a major watch party going on here tonight as well. There is an effort to try and give back to the community here, while some communities are able to take part and others are not. As the conversation with Solomon Asante and the official continues, which has been dating back to the yellow card accumulated 15 minutes ago. And Lubin puts it back in play. Orozco, who has the rare experience of having scored at the Azteca in an American win, commits the foul. You think about Orozco, and we talk about the guys who are coming into this league as owners, but in Orozco's case, still had something to give, wanted to give back specifically to Orange County. He's from here. You can tell there's something extra in this for him. Carroll winds it away. Iloski down the line. Devin, how have these first 35 minutes played out compared to your expectation? Everything we know about the limited scope of practice in the return to play and where these teams were expected to be back in March.
It's definitely better than a lot of the matches we've seen in return to play. Some of that has to do with the talent level. Some of that has to do with the familiarity, Mike, of playing with each other in the past and understanding, okay, these are the tendencies. Fitness is always going to be an issue, so you can't really judge anybody there. I'd still like to see more out of the middle, especially that man right there, John Baquero, lacking against Los Dos and hasn't exactly been at the best right now. Orange County's starting to get it. They got to find a balance, though, right now. When they start to go forward, they're immediately looking for Ugo Akoli up top, and I respect that. The problem is the runs aren't following suit. They shift to one side, and it's pretty much a 2-3-man game. They're not getting up in transition. You got to try to find a way to open your mind up a little bit so that when you start to venture forward and you understand Phoenix blocks itself in, where's the second, where's the third and fourth run coming from? They haven't really explored those depths yet.
In talking with the Phoenix staff, they were looking a bit at their struggles breaking down Reno last year in terms of the shape that Orange County can play in. This will fall kindly for Okoli. Okoli with a bit of footwork. Kasipli. Okoli around the outside. Iloski. To the feet of Quinn, son of a former U.S. international. And now driving into the penalty area. That is a clean challenge. Chrysostamo. Pump the brakes on Asante.
It's a pretty quality challenge out of Darnell King on the far side, standing your ground. Flat-footed, gets away with one, but that's exactly why they brought him in. And he understands where the pressure's coming from, right? He allows his runner to come over to the left shoulder. He trusts the presence of Corey Whelan and A.J. Cochran behind him enough to do so. 1v1 defender, especially at the outside back position. One of the best in the business in the USL Championship.
Don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today. Get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. As this ripped across the face of goal and wide. You miss moments like that. Search for your home team and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now. Click follow for your club. Finlayson has to come back. First time outside of Rangers, that Scottish power Fans may have seen Road to Glory docuseries, that pathway to pro. Orange County put out in association with Rangers in the lead up to this, the side from Glasgow, really sharing the commercial and the development aspects. It's interesting, we were talking with Braden Cloutier. He said we were speaking with them every week, even during the shutdown. Fleming's off the mark. Different teams are going about this differently, Devin. You talk with the Phoenix staff, and they have a head coach who 10 years ago was working with 4- and 5-year-olds before moving his way into the pro game, initially with FC Tucson, now in League One, but at the time in League Two, and into this top tier, the Phoenix Rising organization. Good look here for Olaski. He'll win a corner. And Devin, you've got this Orange County side that's starting to flip players for a profit in the USL Championship. That's a unicorn, but likely that won't be the case for long.
Do you want to be a selling club? Are you a buying club? Is there a mixture in between? Phoenix Rising has obviously invested a bit more into some of those contractual obligations, but on the backside of things, their affiliation with Scottsdale Soccer, Phoenix Rising Youth Academy going the other direction.
Because Sipley.
That really is the end game here, Mike, right? Make your money work for you. You're going to put your resources into something, you have to find a way to get something out of it.
Chris Ostemol. Olaski. New USL Academy model. You've got players like Cervantes, who likely would have made this first team anyways. But the U15 optional, the U17 minimum, the U19 maximum on that elite team. How about this effort from Asante flying over? Concept being that you play at the level you're at. How many times do we hear a coach say, if you're good enough, you're old enough? Phoenix just signed a 14-year-old to an academy deal. There's Rick Shantz, twice an interim. Once at the conclusion of Frank Yallop's tenure, again when Patrice Carteron left the club. Lambert. King. King darting through.
Given the time that we live in, I know there's a lot of frustration as to can we attend a game, fans, no fans. I'll tell you one of my favorite things about this whole thing. Because having lived this exact environment everybody's in on the field, you can hear everybody. It's fantastic stuff. You can hear Rick Shantz on the sideline yelling, John in the pocket. He's referencing John Baccaro. Wants the quick throw back into him. Lambert plays off of him. Quick ball going the other direction. You don't normally have the luxury of being able to hear everything that's going on between all the players on the field. Gather some of the communication, get an idea of exactly what they're thinking, and of course, the times they get it wrong. More importantly, the fun ones when they get it right. Just as you saw, everything that they work on a training ground, witnessing it firsthand, is taking shape right in front of your eyes. Youngster growing up, you always wonder what those drills are about, right? Running for what?
I wouldn't understand.
Sometimes you wouldn't want to, trust me.
Asante. Ball into the channel, lofted across for Flemings, knocked down by Cervantes. Will this leak out? Cervantes in a heated goalkeeping war with Frederick Douay. A Danish keeper, 10 years his senior. Flemings. Free kick, Phoenix.
That's a poor mistake here from Danny Chrysostomo. 30 yards at an angle out from the goal. The ball had already started to go the other direction. No reason whatsoever to dive in here. It's an excellent opportunity from a set piece. Allowed John Beccaro to stand up over this ball. He seems to be the proper choice recently for Phoenix Rising, especially with all the height around him. Look, you've already pushed him the other direction. You've got support on the weak side over the shoulder. Push him away from goal. Yes, they retain possession, but they're going the way. Instead, you give up a pretty quality chance now.
Loaded ball. To Kanto. Tanashov got it wide. Asante flicks a ball through. Fleming sends this over. Deflected on the way. Corner Phoenix, final minute before stoppage time in the first half. Asante. Header off the crossbar, second effort, goes ringing wide. Phoenix had wanted to get a second ball into the box. Three minutes. First half stoppage time. Advantage played, Beccaro. Asante can play that wonderful texture ball. Free kick. And Orange County is off the hook.
They're calibrating, Mike. They're starting to find that rhythm. And set pieces seems to be their greatest outlet right now. AJ Cochran, quick little redirect. Astri has to bring his head down to come on and get the right angle. How nobody gets to this first. He doesn't even have to leave his feet. That's got to be better from a defensive standpoint. The second one coming back around, Junior Flemings cannot believe that this one doesn't end up in.
Cochran out of that highly celebrated St. Louis Scott Gallagher Academy before he went on to Wisconsin. It was a first-round super draft pick. That gets scooped way out of play. Coming up at halftime, Devin will go ahead of the curve. Show you how Phoenix Rising has upgraded a critical position from last year. Also take a look at first half highlights and stats and get you ready for the second half of play here as the USL Championship on ESPN continues. 3 games into our 8-game stretch over a 2-week period, which continues tomorrow night in St. Pete as North Carolina will take on one of the legendary names in North American soccer, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Orozco. Kasipli collides, Asante ushers it through, Aiden Quinn. And Asante goes down. And a yellow shown, Nathan Smith, who had previously taken a knock to his ankle, rolls through Asante.
He lifted up his fingers, Mike, in frustration. So, you know, it's only my second one, but have to give the referee credit. He's called a pretty strict game, but he's been consistent. I have no problem with that. If you make a decision to allow this match to sway one direction, just keep it there. Keep a hold on it. But keep it uniform throughout the entire 90 minutes. And that's definitely taken place so far. Is there any magic just before halftime? Look at Dadashov. They've allowed him a couple times here, Mike, to make that near post run. I would love to see a couple bodies set a little pick and allow him to spin off. Either go for that back post run or allow just the drift to bring something back across the mixer.
Asante, this could fall. Kanto takes us to halftime.
Both teams, Mike, a little tentative in their actions, weren't they? There's some quality buildups here and there, but everybody not necessarily willing to take some of the risks we've seen in the past. The outside backs from Phoenix weren't as active as we've seen. Orange County SC finding their way in the middle of the field. But again, everybody, you can see the rust, but things will continue to heat up here in the second half.
Coming up at halftime, we go ahead of the curve, take a look at outside back for Phoenix and how they found a way to improve from a year ago. Also show you highlights and first half stats. The stars are here. Hopefully the goals to come. You're watching the USL Championship on ESPN. Welcome back to the return to play for the USL Championship on ESPN. That's the view when you play in OC Great Park at Championship Soccer Stadium with Devin Kerr. Mike Watts on hand. Devin, my favorite segment. It's back ahead of the curve.
We've already talked about the depth that Phoenix Rising has added, but even when you go back to last season, Mike, you have to take a look at really where was the weak point. It was at outside back, that right back position. With all due respect to Dumbuya, he made a lot of careless mistakes. Now, he could get away with this in the past with his Premier League experience, but watch this ball. It is the most difficult ball to play as an outlet pass on the entire pitch. He gets it wrong, the team starts running the other direction, and then look at all the numbers. Everybody's chasing. This is exactly what you don't want. Ends up at a penalty, sticks one in the back of the net. Now, second half, you look again. Where do you want this? Kids at home, don't go centrally. Don't knock this ball. Look at everybody behind him. He's got an outlet at the center back position. You can go all the way back to Zach Lubin. You're probably thinking it's convenient that both of these happen in the game against Orange County. They both turned into goals, and guess what? It was the last time Phoenix Rising would lose. They would go on to a 20-game winning streak. So let's transition. Who do they bring in? Darnell King. It's an upgrade. Trust me. You are upgrading all over in a million different ways. Tracks back. Good little step in. He doesn't have a lot to do in the first half, and they played away from him. But watch him read this. Understands the pressure behind and just stands this up. Trying to bring this ball back across his body. Doesn't allow to do it. Holds his ground. Quick little step in. We saw it under Darren Powell in San Antonio. He did it for Gary Smith in Nashville. This is a guy who has taken this back line and pushed it to the stratosphere and beyond. Sky's the limit for these four.
Well, that's what's up in the sky right now. No fans in the stands, but they are in the park. It's scoreless between Orange County and Phoenix. First half highlights coming up. Welcome back to the USL Championship on ESPN. Orange County and Phoenix playing in front of what normally would be a sellout crowd today, an empty stadium in Orange County. Take a look at our first half highlights, Devin. And from the outset, this is a fairly even game. First real blow came from Salman Asante.
Neither team really overly efficient on the ball, Mike. Some quality build-up here and there, but not too much to write home about. This was early on. Salman Asante, Rufat Dadashov. You can see just off kilter a bit. And that quick little flick's got to be on the 8x8, unable to do so. Center back Orozco. Set pieces are what really gave us the best glimpses of scoring opportunities in the first 45. This one's on the far post. Watch the second one. And albeit the best scoring opportunity the entire half. Center back again, AJ Cochran gets to the near post, rings it off the woodwork. Second chance by Flemings. Can't make it happen.
So at halftime, we're scoreless, and with that ball hitting the crossbar, still nothing on target yet. This has been a fairly even game, all things told.
15 shots. It's a pretty high number considering nobody really hit the frame. We saw the one on the header, and that's fine. And, you know, they're starting to string a couple passes together. Phoenix has actually moved their line of competition higher. They've started to pin Orange County back a bit further, and it's become more difficult for the home squad to play out. That's a conversation with Braden Cloutier right now that you talk to guys like Brian Olowski, Harry Forrester, look down into the channels for that outlet pass, but then you have to start to counterpunch. The team works with you. You move your entire line back up. That's when the boxing comes in and out, and you really start to have a good chess match.
So far, subtle jabs, and we'll see if there's a knockout punch coming in this second half in a heated rivalry in Group B. Orange County, Phoenix, scoreless at the half. Second half after this.
Until recently, many youth soccer clubs in the US existed independently from senior teams at both the professional and amateur levels. Many soccer communities didn't even have a local senior team their youth players could aspire towards. As the USL continues to grow and bring more senior teams to communities across the country, the USL Academy platform will build a bridge between youth and professional soccer. By driving collaboration between the local youth network and USL senior team, partnerships are formed, allowing for all organizations to work together in the best interest of long-term player development. Once that pathway is established, USL clubs will be able to field a reserve team, providing the top local high school age players a direct roadmap into the championship, League 1 or League 2 through participation in the new USL Academy League. For more information, visit usl-academy.com.
Back in Orange County, where fans are not allowed in the venue but are just on the gates of it. Devin Kerr, Mike Watts. Let's join those on the field and those around the stadium who across the country and across Orange County applaud the healthcare heroes. They're working every day on the front lines of the fight against COVID-19.
Thank you. Welcome to the second half. It's kickoff time.
Underway in this second half of play. The USL Championship return to play continues in Southern California, in Orange County. They say you don't have to sit in an hour of traffic for pro soccer. Phoenix, the league's dominant power of the past few years. There's appeal for handball. It is just outside the penalty area. Free kick, Orange County.
This is normally Aiden Quinn territory, but it looked like, well, the ball's been taken away now, I was going to say. Our left footer stepping in. Coley in there as well.
What do you always say? There can only be one?
Can be only one. Make your way all the way to the road to the final.
Or to take this free kick. Let's look at the handball.
It's lucky that it doesn't extend any further. Watch this, just outside the top of the 18. Quick little touch across. It's not a bad little idea by Sean O'Coley. Little flick, get around him. Proper spacing by A.J. Cochran. We've got a couple here. We talked about Harry Forrester in the first half. Thought maybe he would have gone with the right foot early on. Instead, Aiden Quinn with the limited angle ended up going with his left foot. Now this one suits both of them. This is where you have to keep a goalkeeper honest. Watch Zach Lubin. He'll sit more centrally located, throw 5-6 into that wall. Still making sure he's got everybody marked up. Got to get up and down quick.
It'll be Forrester or Quinn. It is Forrester. Cascades down the wall. Early goal here could be a tasty appetizer for what's to come. History says, outside of the occasional game marred by a red card, these two play extraordinarily tight and often highly entertaining second halves. This is the 20th all-time meeting between Orange County and the team that habitates in Phoenix. All the way around the edge, and the cutback ball and the attempt at the finish poked high. Not a bad sprint downfield by Orange County.
Aiden Quinn starts his Kickstarter fun with a 60-yard ball up over the corner here. O'Coley just skirting the back line. A.J. Cochran felt like the line of demarcation had been set, but instead, really well done by the 9 up top. Trailing run. It's such a difficult one to take, Mike. You're drifting away from goal. Near post seems so close, and to bring it back across your body outside of the left foot and redirect the opposite direction off the Richter scale. It's a good response from Orange County out of the dressing room, though.
Certainly so. That'll come out to midfield. Dadashov. Cervantes under pressure from Beccaro. Laid across, Asante, reigning MVP, sought out the corner. This game actually matches teams that have won the Western Conference regular season crown in 3 of the prior 5 seasons, twice by Orange County, 2015 and 2018, Phoenix in 2019. Oloski is fouled.
I'd like to see the ball out in front of him a bit more. He was more than willing to take some risks, especially in or around the 18. Pretty quick-witted. Didn't necessarily have a lot to play off of, but neither team has shown us a glimpse of that yet.
Early ball for O'Coley. O'Coley a second time, and Lambert is always providing cover. Oloski, mentioned earlier, injured in February. Wasn't fit to start the season in March, and then the shutdown arrives. It's allowed him to reach the highest level of fitness on the team. Molosky out of UCLA, banged home 15 goals his senior year for the Bruins. A long winding road through the San Diego Zest into Warsaw and into Eastern Europe. Play on, says the referee. Lambert sends it away. Kasipli. Chrysostomol. Kanto into the bleachers. Bleachers that are filled with the occasional celebrity, but largely the season ticket holders taking part in that. Ball falling just beyond the penalty spot. And Phoenix sweeps it away.
It's a good recovery on the end line. Kanto using his athletic ability to get all the way back. Darnell King highlighted him ahead of the curve, right where he's supposed to be when you are beaten, because things are going to break down. But how do you handle it once you do? Little 3v3. Phenomenal recovery by Phoenix Rising.
Kiernan eventually able to find Forrester. That deflects out. Corner, Orange County. Best chance of this game came off a corner by Phoenix shortly before the half.
Let's see if they try something else here, Mike. This was the Achilles here in the first half. Talked about all the big bodies that they had to throw into the box, and they just weren't able to go after anyone.
Kasipli. This ball whipped at goal. Lubin hanging off the crossbar as it caroms over.
Where's the marking here? Both teams just allowing this ball to drop in danger zones. It's almost the exact same ball we saw Michael Orozco in the first half, about 20 minutes in, get on the end of. Zach Lubin making the save. This time, same exact thing. It's become so traditional in this day and age, Mike, for everybody to go into these zonal type marking systems. Sometimes you just need an individual to step up, go make a play on the ball.
Devin, to what extent Orange County hasn't played since March, not seeing outside opposition. They've been unable to play 11v11 simply by the numbers in their camp leading into this. Long run forward. Careens off of Orozco, the former U.S. international. Leads to a corner here for Phoenix. But on a set piece like this, how much does only playing against your own team affect you?
You would think it would be better, to be honest. They're not going to understand your movements, because when you're playing against your own team, everybody's stacked up. You know what plays are coming your way. So you have to step even further than what you're used to.
Baquero toward Dadashov. Falls here for Asante. Clean win of the ball to knock it wide. Baquero through the challenge. Clearance back, and Baquero watches this roll out. Another corner for Phoenix.
That's some of the best we've seen out of John Baquero so far, Mike. The patience on the ball, just ushering it down to the end line and bringing it back across his body. Same goes for Phoenix, though. I mean, they played, what, 4 or 5 days ago?
Baquero again. Ball nods away. Asante with a rip. And Okoli, that smoking line drive, and sends it out.
They're lucky on this one. Thought he was going to hit it first time, but watch this angle. Quick little touch. Solomon Asante sets himself up, top bins the entire way. Might have pushed itself outside of the post, but still, Phoenix Rising continue to apply the pressure.
Another corner this time. Cervantes has it at the goal line.
Now just slow it down. Your goalkeeper understands they've weathered the storm a little bit here. Just sit back, slow the game down, talk to your boys in the back, and your ability to build all the way from the defensive shape moving forward has to be better, and you cannot give away the ball so unnecessarily like that.
Stanton. Unnecessary giveaway out of the back here. Beccaro, former Herman Trophy winner at Wake Forest. Poor pass. Big early tilt here in Group B, closing in on 10 minutes into the second half. San Diego leads the way, but Phoenix has a game in hand. They would draw level on points and ahead on goal difference against Landon Donovan's side, who featured on Saturday a win at Real Monarchs, the reigning champion of the league in Salt Lake City. LA Galaxy 2, Vegas, and Orange County complete the group. Iloski. This cracked off target.
Look at the hands by Seth Kasipli at the bottom of the screen, screaming for this ball, and he's right. Asked if we could get a bit more out of Brian Iloski. We get our wish. It's right at the top of the 18. Great distribution in, but he makes the wrong decision. He doesn't continue the ball over to his left-hand side. Instead, he cuts it back across, goes to Crisostomo. It's not the worst look, but the problem is you're compounding yourself into such a finite area, Mike. When you've created all this space on the backside, just allow the progression to continue. Put it out in front of Kasipli and let him make a play. Here's that press, Mike. Look how quickly everybody closes down. So many white shirts chasing. It's one of the most obnoxious things to have to play out of. You feel like you don't even have a second to think about what your decision's going to be. That's why it's got to be made up ahead of time. Quick little look over your shoulder, survey your surroundings, and you've got to speed up those gears in your head. Up tempo, up tempo. Once you beat that initial line, you can start to slow things down a little bit. But in Phoenix's case right now, they're applying so much pressure. If you're Orange County, you get past that first push, you have a real good opportunity to continue to push the other direction.
Devin, who does this Phoenix Rising side remind you of in their press? Because there's so many teams who have become renowned for it.
Well, it's easy to chase an organization like New York Red Bull. The difference is that they don't do it as often.
Kasipli, centered. Maybe a second look at this. And the offside flag was raised. And Iloski again finds him in the midst. The attack for Orange County.
Especially at this stage in the season with the restart, you just don't have the conditioning to be able to do it. You know, all the work that you put in on the preseason, you're now chasing your tail a little bit, trying to get back on track. So it's going to be intermittent at times in general, yet alone right now. And you'll see them. They'll press, press, press. They'll pull back a little bit. It's quite calculated from the sideline. You can't really pick it up right now, but they know exactly what they want to do. They get quick little turnover. Every now and then you'll see a long outlet ball. You'll see quick pressure up top. But they give you so many different looks, and that's why they've been so successful. It's hard to prepare for just one idea out of Phoenix Rising. You look at some teams and there's a pressure point here, there's a striker up there, they're good on this wing, they're bad over here. Phoenix is so well-rounded. It's one of the most difficult teams in all USL Championship to prepare for.
Closing in on the hour mark. Neither team has made a change yet, although that could change shortly, as the rest of the world has caught on to how the USL Championship approached things 5 years ago. 5 subs in up to 3 intervals plus halftime. Neither side made changes at the break. Beccaro, son of a Spanish soccer legend, including his time at Barcelona and the Spanish national team. Beccaro. Pushed aside by Kiernan. Lambert. Jamaican flicked it across. Darnell King, the offseason acquisition with so much promise. Vaquero over Stanton. Cervantes a bit late and gets on his horse.
You put yourself in such a problematic situation with the ball like that, Mike. John Vaquero really still trying to find himself offensively in this match. You play it up over top. There's your two pivot 8s and 10s. Even if you complete it to Sam Stanton, you've left yourself overexposed in the middle. You're asking the likes of Dadashov to drop back in, Junior Flemings. If the counterattack's on, they're now chasing 30, 40 yards the other direction. And you've got the easy 5-yard ball right in front of you.
Head by Vaquero, sprinting down Flemings over the top and out. There's applause there from the Phoenix sideline. And a change coming. John Vaquero making his way off. We got a pretty clear indication from Rick Schantz, his head coach. He wasn't too pleased with his performance against Galaxy. How do you think he responded tonight?
Same thing. It's not what they're looking for. They're asking John Vaquero to do so much, but be so simplistic in his efforts when he does so. And that kind of contradicts itself, right? You're asking your playmaker to be simple. But in this system, it allows itself to open up so much. You don't have to do so many difficult things. You just have to do the easy things right. And the good example was just a couple moments ago. Just outside the top of the 18, play a ball square to your right, and you can whip one into the box. Instead, you play the most difficult ball. A few minutes before that, he's 15 yards inside the center circle. That's where you want the likes of Lambert to step in. And if Lambert's not there and Vaquero goes, then Lambert has to become that extension. And again, when you haven't played, Mike, and those repetitions just aren't there, that's where the frustration starts to boil over. You get away from your game plan. Smart by the coaching staff on the sideline to make a change and allow somebody else to get involved.
Mark Cuban in the background does not look happy about this stoppage of play.
You're special. Good for you. This will be the first time we've gotten some real extended minutes out of Santi Moar, Mike.
What an exciting player he's been, both in the Philly Bethlehem system, also at New Mexico United. Darnell King. At halftime, you were saying Santi Moar could really change this game.
You hate to say it, right? You don't want to be in a situation where you're already pulling names out of a hat for changes. But when you have this much firepower, it's got to be a bit more diverse when you move into the attacking third.
Asante. Header is in. Phoenix grabs the lead. A little bit of luck to that, perhaps, but Junior Flemings takes the carom and sends it goalward. Phoenix rising ahead.
They always use Junior Flemings as a little pivot and sometimes a decoy, to be honest. They can run a quick little stunt to the top of the 18. Every now and then they'll catch teams sleeping and they allow them to play low. Solomon Asante, the benefactor of the flick across here. Lovely near post run. How about Dadashov? Picked up right where Adam John left off. All he does is redirect this. We asked for it in the opening 45 minutes. And just inside 15, when you come into the second half, you finally find your playmaker who's been isolated out on the island, gets his chance, pokes it out, sticks it into the back of the net.
That is his 40th USL Championship goal. And what's more, he's now scored a goal in each of Phoenix Rising's first 3 games. Well, now Phoenix will try and play from ahead the rest of the way, seal 3 points, put them on 9 through 3 games ahead of Landon Donovan's San Diego side. And in a 16-game season, Devin, if you grab 15 early points in your first 5-6 games,
book it.
You're in a really good spot to be top 2 of the group to get into the playoffs in October.
So watch, Mike, next 5-10 minutes, not just the reaction out of Orange County SC, but also I want to see exactly what Junior Flemings brings to the table right now. Why? Santi Moar comes on. He's now occupying the position on the far side of the field, and Flemings comes to the interior. It's something they've been toying with at Phoenix Rising for quite some time. But practicing and gameplay are two totally different things. He's alongside Stanton, got to have a conversation with Lambert every now and then. The defensive responsibilities for Junior Flemings are going to become much more apparent, especially the way that Orange County likes to overload the middle.
Third goal this year for Junior Flemings. A Jamaican international in his own right. Hasn't scored at the international level, but debuted with the national team for Jamaica against French Guiana in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Came through Tivoli Gardens into the Red Bull organization, was on that 2016 USL Championship winning side. Good take here by Moar. Moar dances, as he so often does. Lofted ball toward Dadashov.
And now you have gone down one, Mike. Outside of 20 minutes to go. Braden Cloutier staring down the bench. Chandler Hoffman, Darwin Jones, some real game changers that have the opportunity to provide that spark. That was pretty apparent 10 minutes into the first half. Totally different squad coming out at halftime. Since then, they've honestly been wheeling and dealing, trying to get back into this match.
Darnell King goes into the back of Smith. By the way, Devin, you listen closely, and there are only a scattered number of fans outside the fence of this venue, and yet you can still hear the chanting, which is quite unique in a stadium that is being played theoretically behind closed doors for this day. Darwin Jones comes on into the line for Harry Forrester, who was playing on a yellow card.
That'll help keep that far side of Santi Moar and Usuanto Kanto a bit more honest. It's a lot of speed over there. Wouldn't want to be training with those boys.
Darwin Jones, an incredible story, actually, how he ended up in Orange County. Really how he was able to bring in another major piece to Orange County. Kevin Coleman came on for Seth Kasipli, so a double change there up front. Ball dumped in over the top, and this is offside. Phoenix grabbing the opening goal in the 64th minute of play. And the Rising fans, they love it. The virtual watch party continues from the state of Arizona.
Look at Stephen Nicole in that top corner up there.
Oh, all right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Pictures reminiscent of the championship back in 2018 when they won the West. Made it to the title game. Some quality memorabilia sitting around, huh?
And the ball landing in the section that Phoenix owned for that game. It was packed.
They traveled well.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. You saw something similar at the final, too. Had that whole corner set out for them.
They set up a fully chartered flight. New Mexico did that in the U.S. Open Cup last year.
Took the words right out of my mouth. The growth of this league and what it's been able to do, traveling to Minnesota United.
I mean, think about where Phoenix was 5 years ago. They were Arizona United. It was a fairly hapless team. No real star power, played rather slow. They were playing on a baseball field. And here they are. They called it from tumbleweeds to rough and tumble. They built a stadium using the stands from the Phoenix Open. Asante slips it through. Asante, one of the major stars that came in alongside Didier Drogba. And they go from bottom of the table to a consistent contender, and last year, the runaway regular season champion in this league. And the fans have come out in droves. Really remarkable. This will skitter all the way out, lead to a corner. Aguinaga set to come on, and Sam Stanton doesn't know his numbers on the board just yet. What did you make out of Sam Stanton, a guy who's played nearly 200 games in the Scottish Championship?
Quite similar to John Beccaro's performance, vanilla for the evening. You know, not necessarily as spicy as you'd like it to be, but certainly wasn't dull by any means. Efficient on the ball. And that's what you need out of this midfield three. But you understand also that teams are going to recognize where they need to prepare. They understand the threats up top when you start Asante, Flemings, and Dadashov. And if you can't find success through those guys, you have to start to mutate.
Corner Orange County and an early whistle.
That was the concern that Rick Shantz had last game himself as well. You watch them play, Mike, and there's no real overwhelming presence in the middle of the field. Every time that Beccaro or Stanton were on the ball, you didn't feel like, wow, you're on the edge of your seat, playmaking is about to happen. Now, you weren't worried either, something bad was going to go the other direction. So that's where the consistency starts to creep in that I talk about.
Is Asante played through? Poor clearance. Asante settles. It is wide of the post. The ball moving in slow motion, gradually angling away. Corner.
Michael Orozco makes a poor decision, get his pocket picked. Watch this ball when it comes back up over the top. Have to wonder where the touch is going right here. He sees Solomon Asante out in front of him on the right. Nathan Smith trying to make his way back. Orange County quite lucky that it's not 2-0 right now.
And Asante takes the ensuing corner, steered all the way to the back post. And can Orange County get out on the run? The electric Darwin Jones is driving that Phoenix back line into their own half. Mike Watts, Devin Curry, USL Championship. We used to call Game of the Week. Now it's just the game we're playing today. Orange County taking on Phoenix from Championship Soccer Stadium in Irvine, California. And a typical Southern California day in Orange County. Tomorrow, our string of games continues on ESPN2. The Tampa Bay Rowdies will play host to North Carolina FC. Dave Sarakin leading that side, the former U.S. men's national team interim manager. It was interesting. I was talking to Neil Collins with you today, the Rowdies manager, former center back, a former Sunderland guy, and asking him about what he's been doing during the time off, whether he watched some of the great Netflix series, Sunderland Till I Died. He said he was glued to it.
I got myself in trouble with that one. I went from Sunderland to the Leeds documentary.
Yep.
Transitioned to the Dortmund on Amazon Prime. And needless to say, during the travel last year during the season, wife wasn't always happy that she wasn't getting the phone calls.
Oh, look at this ball over the top. Ball slid wide. Did that skip through and in? Kevin Coleman. 74th minute, Orange County level.
Ask and you shall receive. We wanted more playmakers from the likes of Orange County. So there was a lot of speed. If you're Braid Clute here looking down the bench, Darwin Jones, Kevin Coleman, those were two of them. Chandler Hoffman's still there laying and waiting, by the way. But these long balls coming out of the back for Orange County have been problematic time and time again. He's got to clean up his touches a little bit here, and you see the trailing run of Corey Whelan. But when you have this much real estate to work with, it's not that difficult. Clinical on the tail end of it. Strap yourselves in, 15 to go.
Alvarado comes on. Coleman's first of the year. Crisostomo has come off. So there is a hole in the back of the net, which makes me feel a little less out of sorts.
Fourth official was just fired.
Usually it's the ARs going over there, just checking with the flag, making sure everything's A-okay.
There's an assessor in the locker room right now eating pizza, laughing hard.
Asante plays it forward. We promise there could be some fireworks laid on here because that is the Orange County and Phoenix way. Asante for Dadashov. Nearly in quick succession. And a hydration break comes at the 75th minute. And Orange County felt like these would help them, Devin.
It's going to help anyone, right? With the amount of pressure being put on by Phoenix Rising, it's a whole nother tempo coming their way. This is a much better response, though. Honestly, it took the goal. Start of the second half was nice. They tailed off a little bit. Phoenix Rising gets its goal. You start to come back in. Really liked their ability to really expand this game, like stretch it, continuously pushing. The problem is it's kind of been isolated situations where it's the long ball over the top, 1v2, 1v3, asking a lot of that one player to go do it on their own. Fortunate on this one that in the equalizer, the isolated situation is a 1v1 and just gets in behind. You figure out how we got here. What a little flick this is by Dadashov on the near post. Kept saying, why not run the stunt the other direction? This is exactly why. I'll have a seat. You guys do your thing. Junior Fleming's 1-0. Didn't last very long, though, did it? What do we get? 64th minute. You're looking at about 10 minutes on the watch. What a ball coming back over the top of this back line. A.J. Cochran way out of position. Did he rip the net? Who knows? All that matters is it tickles the nylon, and we're back at square one.
It did a lot more than tickle it. Coleman driving this past Zach Lubin and literally through the net and into the stands.
There's a telling look at the tail end of the replay, Mike. Zach Lubin looks to the sideline in disgust almost at the assistant referee. You don't hear any arguing coming from the Phoenix Rising faithful on the sideline, nor from the players. So they understood that they had gotten themselves caught in the cookie jar and they were left exposed on the backside.
Out of the hydration break, we'll see benefits. Flemings takes a knock.
Just watch this near side, Mike. With the departure and now additions of John Baccaro, Stanton, and then you bring in Aguinaga and Moar. We said Moar goes to the left. Junior Fleming starts to come in. But one thing that Phoenix Rising started to experiment with at the end of last year wasn't just bringing Junior Flemings to the interior. It was allowing Solomon Asante, #1, to do the same, albeit they were both on the wings at the time. But now that you've got them paired up next to each other, watch them interchange. Watch these overlapping runs where Fleming starts to feel more comfortable on the outside. He'll come out. Solomon Asante will come to the interior. It's just one more added weapon to add to their arsenal that seems like every single time you turn your head, they get better and better.
They'll look to patch up Flemings. And Nathan Smith finds himself in another collision here. It's 1-1 here between Orange County and Phoenix in the 79th minute of play. Let's take a look at what's coming up on ESPN2 and ESPN Deportes this weekend and into next week. Tampa Bay takes on North Carolina Friday night. It's a 6 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. Got Sacramento and Reno. Devin, they historically don't like each other.
Not friends. Not even acquaintances, are they? And we have the luxury of having seen some of these teams around the league. That Pittsburgh Indy game, I tell you, it's going to be a juicy fixture for sure. Those are two of the better performances we've seen in the return to play. Riverhounds, of course, going to brand new Lynn Family Stadium at Louisville City, disposing of the Eastern Conference rivals 3-1, and Martin Rennie and co. Pretty impressive performance at home against new manager Steve Chu, St. Louis FC, 2-0.
This will send Okoli back, and Cochran nods it to Lubin. We also have San Diego and LA Galaxy coming up on the 19th here. That's a 10 p.m. Eastern time kickoff on Sunday on ESPN Deportes. So a good look at Landon Donovan's side, which will be attempting to overtake Phoenix once again if this scoreline holds in Group B.
Watch this tempo, Mike. Let's see how quickly these guys downshifting. See if they can pick it up a bit here. You made some changes, fresh legs. Everybody understands what's at stake. All right, you're back at 1-1. 10 minutes till the finish line. Let's see if we can get some fireworks going here.
Flemings, who scored in the 64th minute. Flemings finally impeded by Orozco. Orozco himself pushed by Moar.
What a tackle by Michael Orozco. Junior Fleming's 50-yard run the entire way. You could hear the shouts. They wanted him to come to this near touchline to Solomon Asante. Sometimes you just let the Jamaican go, though. Cool as he could be the entire way, Orozco steps over. First tackle, second one. Rewarded with a little rough challenge by Santi Moar for his efforts. Doesn't agree with the referee. Shocking from the Spaniard. Haven't really seen him on the ball as much as we'd like since his inception into this match. Again, there's just so much talent on the field right now, Mike.
Driven away by Lambert. Lasky. Okoli. They'll come back here. Aiden Quinn, Orange County, we're probably hoping to move a bit quicker. Quinn tried to serve that. Lambert. Flemings. Asante. Flemings. Back to Asante. Asante stepping through, and Orange County closes it down.
It's a little bit of what I was telling you about. Little 1-2 punch, usually on opposite ends of the field, and now an opportunity to create a little bit of brothers in arms on this near touchline.
Moar helping to create this. Cut back for Dadashov. You believe these teams are going to play each other again next week? Such is the nature of these 8 regionalized groups in which you'll see teams 3 to 4 times and play some interdivisional games to help decide the playoffs. Tossed in for Phoenix. Coleman. Okoli. Okoli through the challenge. It's a wave of orange shirts. Jones. Jones crossing at Lubin.
Look at the gap in the middle right now, Mike, with all the changes that have been made and the way that Orange County SC is lining up. Lambert coming to the near and just leaving themselves with a load of real estate in the middle of the box. Resorting yourself to these long balls, and this is where you have to be careful, because although to the rich go the spoils, when you get Junior Flemings and Solomon Asante on at the same time and they can play together, you also have to be oh so careful of your shape. And that's a little bit of what you're seeing in the middle right now. Look at everybody. Aguinaga to the near. And there's this quick little circle right where the referee is for Aiden Quinn to operate. That's why you've started to see a bit more explosion coming out of Orange City to go the other direction. Haven't been able to put it all together yet, though.
Asante toward Dadashov, who trips the ground. He deflected this wide of Cervantes. The USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs across the USL to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent. Following the success of the first Academy Cup events, clubs can apply to participate in the USL Academy League, kicking off spring 2021. More information, visit usl-academy.com or search the hashtag USL Academy on social media. Kalistri for Dadashov.
Last little pawn on the board, Mike. Watch Junior Flemings go all the way up top now. The last ace in the hole, trying to play his as a number 9. They feel like they've become quite comfortable with it. And the question is, with 5 minutes to go on the road in this restart, you got any magic left in that bag of yours?
10 goals in their first 2 games. 6 against Portland Timbers 2 before the restart back in March. 4 more after winning on Saturday against LA Galaxy 2. Way too much room to orchestrate for Asante. That's a high boot, a dangerous one. Aginaga throwing his leg out at that.
He's frustrated. He wanted this ball into feet, and the opportunity was there. Also had the shout over his far shoulder with a quick little flick on the back post run. There's a substitute coming in. Sometimes you're just off kilter a little bit. He's asking right in front of him. The window opens right up. Instead, Danny Finlayson on the backside of things gets a nice little boot to the face. Not a bad debut for that young man.
No, he's played the part.
Held his own. Plenty of others on the pitch you could point out over him.
Came on trial at the beginning of that Rangers partnership, the Scottish giant. Here's Aginaga, who, like his former teammate at Red Bull, Florian Valo, out of Ryder, put some major players into major places in pro soccer. Aginaga initially out of Real Madrid's academy. Orange County will go to their bench. We'll get our first look at Chandler Hoffman replacing Brian Olosky. Chandler Hoffman, the Birmingham, Alabama native, on loan from Legion, where it simply didn't seem to work out. Timing perfect with Thomas Enevoldsen leaving for Denmark to attend to the birth of his child. So the former UCLA Bruin and MLS Cup champion with LA Galaxy makes his Orange County debut in his first game back from an ACL tear. And Whelan pops back to his feet. Then we got a chance to talk with Chandler Hoffman on your Three Honest Lads podcast this week in the lead up to this game. Really incredible resilience and the third best goal scorer in the history of this league. He feels there's one thing he still hasn't achieved. He's still after that championship crown. So that still motivates him. Kalistri lobbing.
He's pretty quick-witted, wasn't he?
Chandler Hoffman,
yeah,
yes.
He's sometimes you can hear someone and almost hear the brain processing. Teeth crunching on the other side of the microphone. That wasn't the case at all. Well scripted the entire way and didn't even know what questions were coming his direction, but just moments to go here. He'd like the ball to be headed in the other direction to get a chance.
Asante pushing at Smith. That get out. Phoenix appealing for a corner. Coley versus for Coleman, who scored the equalizer in this game. For what it's worth, Hoffman initially came to California and had mandatory quarantine, as is the league policy when joining the side. Flemings off the turnover. Positive slide by Kiernan to slow it, but Mowar slips. So Hoffman has only trained for a few days with the side, 10 in orange, ahead of his Orange County debut. Contact, not enough to draw the foul. Comes over to Hoffman on the bounce. 5 additional minutes of stoppage time to find a late winner in this one. King. Calistri. Calistri again.
And these waves are just going to continue to come for Phoenix Rising. Mike, Orange County has to do a better job when they are starting to play out of the back to maintain some sort of proper disposition on the ball, because you can see it's just sort of these long headers, hitting the reset, knocking the long ball down the field. They have to find a way to build as well.
Asante wide again, Calistri. Played long, and it's a foot race. Settled here for Orange County. Darwin Jones. Jones curling off target.
Bit of frustration here by Darwin Jones, and this is one of the ones you saw. Chandler Hoffman is going to come into your screen at the tail end of this. He sits at the top of the 18. You have the back post run of Ugo Akoli happening as well. And all three of them just, reading a different book. 3-4 minutes to go in a match, Mike. You're 1v1 just outside top of the 18. Your body's tired. It's a lot easier if you just let one fly than to try and put the pieces together.
Calistri firing forward, helps to keep the ball. Asante. Asante tried to glide by, and now Orange County the other way. Rolled ahead, flag stays down. Jones. Jones goes down.
Watch out. Watch out.
Kanto, the former Orange County player, sent off, back pocket.
How close is this coming the other direction? You're almost begging Aiden Quinn, after the beautiful tackle by Nathan Smith, not to hit this ball, play the easy ball next to him, and you could go as a unit. Once again, Darwin Jones, we saw it. Kevin Coleman stepped on the pitch initially, ran a very similar run, but how smart is this? Touch into the negative space. Out in front of the defender, come across the path. Understand that two things are gonna happen. You're gonna continue your run, go one-on-one with Zach Lubin, or you're gonna get taken down.
And so Kanto's return concludes with a red card, and we should get a little more time on the clock than the initial 5 minutes.
Mike, remember, just seconds before that, we talked about how when Orange County started to push, they get outside the top of the 18. They've basically got a 3v3, and I said the easy thing to do here is to let your mental thought processing start to break down and just unleash a shot. Darwin Jones understood that he made a mistake. He was very frustrated and hard on himself, yelling into thin air. Much better decision making this time around, even though he's out in front of the play. And yes, he's got one with the goalkeeper. He recognizes the threat and understands that he's got two options. Either one gets him in a good spot.
He'll watch from the edge of the tunnel. It could be Quinn, it could be Okoli. Okoli at Lubin. And in the end, if you're Kanto, certainly you don't enjoy being off at this point. But if you just saved a point for your team, not the worst red card you could take at this stage of the game. Trouble in the back. Flemings for Phoenix. Flemings cuts it all the way back across, and the slide sends it off. The late slide in by Moar could have been a game winner.
And that's the other argument here, right? Prior to going back to the free kick and the red card on the other side of the field, Junior Flemings fancies himself. It's got to be on that left foot to have any good chance whatsoever, as the angle was pretty small. The other argument here is Kanto didn't try and take him down. I mean, you can tell right away the way that he's trying to play that out. However, given the way that the rule book has changed over the past couple years, you go way back when, you point to the spot in a last minute situation. That's no longer the case now. That rule's gone. Yes, you still get the straight red. But to your point, you might have saved the ability to go down by 3 here, right? Lose 3 points. You go down 2-1. And that rise that we talked about and how difficult it would be in Group B, a bit more difficult. Not the case now.
All of a sudden, San Diego would be on 7. Orange County and Phoenix would be level. If this stands, Orange County would move to 4. All across there for Asante. If this stands, Phoenix would be on 7 points through 3 games. Just like San Diego, Orange County would be on 2 points through 2. Settled wide. How much time does the referee give here? Ball's got to get pumped forward for Orange County. The race is on here for Phoenix in pursuit of 2 extra points at the end. Lambert, Moar, Asante, Flemings. Flemings sends it across, wheeling through and out. And the full-time whistle. An incredible last 5 minutes, but Devon still, it finishes 1-1.
And they finally picked it up, and you can start to get glimpses of why everybody's high on these 2 teams. Now, there is a long way to go, not just to the USL Championship final, but the number 1 and 2 spots in Group B. But if there's any indication of what they're capable of, it is the bright spots that you saw this evening. Junior Flemings gets back into it. From an aerial standpoint, hard to believe. Kevin Coleman gets his first goal of the season. Darwin Jones thought maybe he gave his team an opportunity. And with all the chances we saw here tonight, 1-1 seems fitting.
And while the fans aren't allowed in the venue, still enjoying the 1 point they saw from distance. Fleming scores the opener in this one. The response for Orange County late. It finishes 1-1. We wrap it up when we come back. The USL Championships return to play continued in Orange County as OCSC and Phoenix Rising, who have some really incredible battles over the years, finish 1-1 on a gorgeous SoCal night. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, we take a look at the full-time highlights from this affair, and things really picked up as we went along. A couple goals in this second half. We begin in the 19th minute.
Again, Mike, I think one of the things between the two teams that they're really going to have to work on is set-piece opportunities. And Phoenix would get on the better end of that one when they score their goal. But this is just heading into the locker room at halftime. This is well done. Creates some separation by A.J. Cochran, big center back. Well done using his body to his advantage. Quick little shimmy of the forearm. Off the woodwork, go the other direction. Here's the goal, right? It's not exactly what we saw on the header. They run the little flick to the back. And that's what they like to do. Did a lot with Adam John last year. Did the same thing again. Thought maybe they'd give you a different look. That wasn't the case. He's normally scoring with goals out in front of him. He'll take it any way he can get it. So we needed changes, both from Phoenix as well as from Orange County. Edson Alvarado would come on. Darwood Jones would come on. Kevin Coleman would come in. And these long balls started to fly out of the back. Kevin Coleman had drifted over from the left. You don't get the tracking runs out of Darnell King or A.J. Cochran. Corey Whelan can't pick him up as well. Really well done by the substitute to tuck this one away. Said, okay, 15, 20 minutes to go. Fresh legs. Let's have a little fun. How about this ball? Aiden Quinn. Nicely done. Once again, the back line of Phoenix Rising has to do a better job. Y'all at home think this is a soft foul? Pay attention again. Clips his entire back left leg. Kanto knows what he does wrong. There's no argument from the sideline. There's no argument from the players. Guess what? There's no penalty either, because that rule is long gone. Poor miss by Okoli on one side. Junior Flemings goes the other way. This is the last-ditch effort. Can't touch it in. Santi Moore, thought he might have a say about it. 1-1. Game over.
Drama-filled second half, and this was right at the death. 1-1 the finish here. It means 2 points thus far through 2 games for Orange County. It puts Phoenix on 7 through 3 to tie San Diego at the top of Group B, ahead on goal difference. Here's a look at the full-time stats. We were treated 34 shots.
Whew. Good news is they finally put some on target in the second half. That's one of the better talking points to think about here. I think the good news here is, Mike, is that they're going to get right back at it right away. The difference is Orange County doesn't play till the 25th. And guess who? Phoenix. Phoenix doesn't play till the 25th at Orange County. So they're going to play the same exact game. We just get 9 days to do it. Nice little rest in between.
Yeah, no doubt about it. In Southern California, this rivalry renewed again. Tomorrow night, Tampa Bay and North Carolina, 6 p.m. Eastern. We kick off on ESPN2. For Devin Kerr and our entire Vista WorldLink team, led by producer Sharni Yerke, Mike Friedman, Michael Cohen, Mike Watts saying, thanks for watching. Orange County and Phoenix in Group B. Share the spoils, 1-1. We'll see you tomorrow night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.